welcome back to the Mad LiberTEA Party, where up is down, left is right, and the rules don't matter because, like, I mean, look at this freaking place. Oh, I mean, we're
Hey.
all mad here or something. Everyone's mad, yeah. All
Well,
that stuff. Hi,
they
y'all.
they say what goes up must come down, yet their feet don't touch the ground. That's a line from Sonic Heroes.
I'm glad to have you guys all here with me, and we're glad to have you guys here watching if you're doing that. I know we just started, so people will come in and out and stuff like that. Today we're going to be discussing in light of yesterday, which was marked the day of the passing of Nestor Makhno and the murder of Garrett Foster. We were planning on getting together yesterday and discussing this, but we put it off for a day for reasons. And if you were around in the community, we did an episode over on Jeremiah's thing about the 2025, and that would be really cool to check out. If you haven't seen it already, it's like on all of our social media and stuff. Um, but yeah, like we wanted to talk about heroes and martyrs and leaders and the concepts of those things and how they affect us and how we utilize them and how, for better or for worse as free folk, because it is kind of an odd thing. It's a wedge to stand on, kind of. Um, so like, I guess I would like to straight up like go around the circle basically and like introduce ourselves a little bit, and then like maybe after you tell people who you are, you could like share to them what a hero is to you. Like how do you define that as an individual? um I personally, I'm Brett. Everybody knows me. I'm kind of weird, but I'm still here. I'm an amoeba and three possums in a trench coat today. But who knows what I'll be tomorrow. And as far as heroes go, like, personally, I stand in a weird spot because I think that they're good and bad. And I think that they have some serious, dangerous drawbacks. And I think that they bring us to like very close to possibly dropping our principles at times. And they can be very tempting against us. But they also create morale. They give us rallying points. They're important parts of our history. And like without that, what the heck? Where are we going? We don't know where we are going if we don't know where we came from. So that's just me, like, and like heroes themselves for me, like they come in all shapes and sizes. There are so many archetypes and spaces, so like we'll talk about that a little bit more, I guess. Who wants to go next?
I mean, if I'm breaking an awkward silence, I'll go next.
I
The
guess you
general,
are.
yeah, uh,
I guess I'll go.
yeah, go for it.
Hey,
Oh,
Mini Party.
go ahead.
Oh boy.
We have a bit of a delay, y'all. Just bear
Oh
with us.
shoot.
Go ahead,
I'm
Gordy.
delayed.
Go.
But
Introduce
anyways,
yourself.
hi
Tell us.
everybody. So yeah, my name's 42. I I am weird trans mask, anarcho-communist, and I mainly in this group to learn and to, you know, genuinely start helping people and in any way I can.
We love to have you. So, what's your idea of a hero? How do you define that?
A hero for me is someone who does good things that have a big enough of an impact to warrant their memory. Um, for example, um, think of a superhero, right? You have this problem, you have this crisis, and then the superhero comes and saves the day. And and of course, not all heroes wear capes, but using that superhero archetype, we can sort of we can see, okay, a hero is someone who not only helps people, who not only saves people, but who also makes such an impact that it warrants their memory. and what you do with that memory is what really makes the conversation on heroes, because heroes are heroes, but whether or not they should be idol or how they should be honored is something else.
Fair. How about you go then next? Thank you for your entry. Would you like to hit that next Jeremiah that you were already in the process of getting ready to?
So, I'm the resident schizo hedgehog, anarchist unity guy, massive cunt when I need to be, and sometimes when I don't. The general vibe that I want to give off is like heroes are sort of not an actual thing that somebody can be, but they are a label that other people put on them. It's more like something that exists as a thing in the ether that might be something that somebody thinks applies to an individual, but that person cannot concretely and directly and specifically earn the title of hero, and it can't be then stripped from them in the same like mentality. It has to it's not something somebody is, it's how they're perceived, because
Mm-hmm.
there are so many people that I would consider heroes that other people would fucking not, for a variety of reasons. And for me, that doesn't mean that it's any less of a valid distinction. It just means that heroism is subjective, and one person's hero is another person's criminal, mass murderer.
Villain.
Yeah. So the general vibe I want to give off is like, if you have heroism as like this concept, it's something that you're impressing upon somebody because you think they earned the title. It's not something where you can be like, "Yup, they done did reach the objective threshold. They be a hero now." So,
Yeah,
um,
right? Like, checklist for heroics.
yeah. So I got plenty of examples, but right now I will pass it off to somebody else. And somebody's like clicking. I don't know what that is.
Yes. Not sure where the clicking is coming from, but I
I
did
was
hear
worried
that.
it was my phone, but I don't think it is.
I don't think it is
I don't know.
either. Weird.
Well, it stopped.
This
How
thing
about
is
you, Rose? You
really
want to
expected to
introduce
go out.
yourself and tell us what you think of heroes and stuff?
So I'm Rose.
How do you
I'm
define that?
anarchist without adjectives, part-time big L libertarian. So a hero, in my opinion, is someone who has had an influence on our personal political philosophy. Now, I don't think we should worship what we consider heroes. I think all people have their share of, good traits and flaws, and that we should follow ideas and not people. I think everyone has their share of bad takes along with good takes. All political theorists had, certain takes that were questionable, no matter how influential they were. So I think that, it's fine to have certain people that we consider to be highly influential in our own development, but we also need to remember that they were still human. They were not infallible. We should not follow ideas just because, so-and-so, who I greatly admire, said this, so therefore that must be the correct answer. I think everyone has something to contribute, but we need to remember they were still human, and even if they got a lot of things right, of course they probably also got a few things wrong.
Yeah, fair. Absolutely. Was that it? Sorry, I didn't want to ask.
We're
Yeah,
waiting
pretty
for
much.
somebody to join the joust. We gotta wait for
Oh
their
my
boner to
gosh.
pop.
Oh no. How about you, Kareem? You want to introduce yourself and define heroes for yourself?
Join the joust.
I joined the joust. Okay, let me get my Atari, and I have a little guy who can fly
Yo.
and jump on other birds.
I played the shit out of that. Anyway.
We're all.
Yeah, me too. Okay. I don't really like the idea of heroes because you put somebody up on a pedestal, and somebody has to be that somebody you have to look up at them and say, hey, this person's a hero, I'm just a regular person. That isn't very helpful, especially in anarchist circles. That's kind of creating a hierarchy in and of itself. But there are people who have done
Real
significant
quick,
things in the
Kareem.
movement.
Stop for just a second. I think it's from Qwerty, that whatever this popping and clicking noise is, if you wouldn't mind muting for now.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Go for it. Kareem.
Okay, so that being said, I don't like the idea of heroes. That's kind of creating a hierarchy, actually, that you don't need to say that you're up here, I'm down here. That being said, other people who have done significant like stuff in the movement, I would say going all the way back to the Greeks, yeah, they had some ideas of anarchy. That's where the word came from, without rulers. So, going up to the Middle Ages, we had, and different things like that. We had the levelers, and we had the diggers. They did some pretty good stuff in terms of anarcho-communism in the Middle Ages. Then we come up to Godwin. He was the first self-declared libertarian. In France, Pierre-Joseph Proudhon, who was the first self-declared anarchist in France. And I would say the father of modern anarchism is probably Bakunin, from all of his work and everything he did. Machno fought off 2 armies. It's quite impressive. We have Ercole Malatesta and Peter Kropotkin, who I guess you could say helped modernize the anarcho-communist philosophy. And then going to Murray Rothbard, helping set up the capitalist version of that from Mises. And all the way up to like Bookchin, and now I would say there are not modern heroes, but there's people you could take example from that have actually taken these works and said, okay, I'm gonna create a society. Who are they? I'd say Chiron did some significant stuff, throwing cops out, elected rulers. You have the Zapatistas. They worked for 50 years. I love when people like, well, Kareem, you just did a community garden. What did that do? What did that do, ANCAP? It takes about like 20 to 50 years to get this thing going. It's not magic. Then you have Rojava, most recently, coming from the works of Bookchin and Abdullah. So I think that those are all good things you can understand and say, hey, this is a good footprint to work with. I take the example, see how you apply that. And the person I found that is the most well-rounded, like if you just say, hey, I want to understand this piece of anarchy, I just don't know. And that could go anything, stuff you wouldn't even think of, like Buddhist anarchy, Muslim anarchy, Jewish anarchy, anarchy in the Middle Ages, anarchy at like, the random place in America. I think Keith Preston is extremely knowledgeable. He's even knowledgeable on contemporary stuff that's in the statist realm. So those are some people that are noteworthy.
Hey, Kareem.
And also, I guess Heiss and Comrade Bread have done a lot as well.
Hey, Kareem. Kareem, these people over there in that autonomous zone, they should set up a coffee subscription service and call it Rojava.
Oh no!
Which autonomous zone are we talking about?
They could fund their army with it. They could wake up the world.
Just donate all of the proceeds.
Kareem, did you say fights?
Well,
you know who has coffee you can buy to support them? The Zapatistas. That's not even a joke.
The Mayan farming co-ops and the Zapatista and stuff. So let's hit up Terrari. Terrari, you want to introduce yourself and give us your subjective definition of a hero? I like that we all have these somewhat different ideas, but like a lot of overlap in our like criticalness.
So, I'm Terrari. I'm the best one here, obviously.
Gotta lower your
that's
pitch
a little
like
bit.
a little.
Can you lower it just a teeny bit? Too much. You're huffing on the balloon too much.
Is like puffing helium over there?
Like maybe
I love
You sound like a chipmunk.
Yeah, that's better.
Oh, that's way better.
Yeah.
So I'm the best one here, obviously.
You should be seeing more of me around here. And,
We can't. It keeps fluctuating, yo. We cannot understand that.
is that there?
Maybe. I mean, it's still high pitched.
I only just hear
It's
a
like you're
duck
taking
quacking.
alcohol, doses of beer.
Is there a duck in here?
Maybe this, maybe this.
That's pretty good.
As long as that
Okay,
stays
yeah.
that way. Yeah.
So, yeah, you should be seeing me more around here, and, for me, I just really define a hero as someone who's, influenced my principles, through action. Yeah.
That's pretty simple. That's pretty cool, though. I mean, like, so, like, you know, we all kind of, like, have our own definitions of these things, and I think we pretty covered that, like, you know, like, it's a very subjective, personalized thing, which is kind of interesting because, like, there are certain people that, figures and groups and stuff like that, that we, like, almost all universally kind of look at. One of the ones that I see mentioned a lot is, like, Nestor, you know. But there's, like, there's several. I was like, so, like, we also kind of covered something in just the intro here, like the very different types of heroes. Like, there's so many different archetypes and stuff. Like, you know, there's the philosopher that teaches us and puts the words out there for us to relate to, and there's the people who raise armies and forces and fight against tyranny, and to free the people. There's people who build things. There's people who literally just act like as a leader, and like some of these things like can be very double-edged swords, you know. Like the word leader, isn't that a rough one for us free folk, you know? um I think that when we talk about it, we tend to define it differently than like most like statists do, because like when I'm talking about leaders and I'm talking about it. Pardon me, Cordy, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I think Qwerty is talking to somebody in meat space.
Oh, make sure that you mute before you talk to other people. You don't want to accidentally put somebody on here that doesn't have a.
I tried to mute, but I.
Dear Sec.
Wait, are
It's
there
okay.
actually other people in meat space? That's a real thing? I didn't know real people existed.
But like, so like, you know, there's like certain terms that I wanted to go through and define and stuff, and we hit the hero thing. What do you guys think about the word leader? Because like when we talk to like statists and stuff, their idea seems to be like the person in charge. And
Yeah,
like
but
for free folk, we don't really have that. It's so weird because like they will apply leader to people who aren't leaders amongst the free folk just because it seems like they can't. I guess because it seems like, to me, it seems like they can't conceive of it. You know? Leadership is also, in my opinion, a very fucking personal thing. Like, and I wanted to like see if we couldn't go around and talk about leadership and our subjective takes on that as well before we get really into discussing the deeper things. And for me personally, like, I don't know about y'all, but like for me, leadership is more of a state of being, where you become like you live as an example. You act as you want others to act, and like, you know, you teach with your actions and stuff like that. Personally, I don't think that it's appropriate for free folk to have like actual leadership, the way that the statists see it. But the way that the statists see it, in my opinion, is not even close to what an actual leader should be like. They tend to be their leaders are charismatic, you know, and they rely on a lot of smoke and mirrors and PR teams, wherein our leaders have a tendency to just be, you know, like out there doing things, making an example of themselves and stuff. What do you, when you say that person is a leader, what comes to mind? And I guess like we'll go in a different order. What do you think, Kareem? What comes to mind when somebody says that person is a leader?
I guess somebody who would come up with the ideological framework for you to take and create something in the physical world. So a leader to me is just a thought leader, meaning they say, hey, we should do this, and here's an idea, here's a blueprint, a rough blueprint of how things should be set up, not central planning. But here's how I think everything could work, and here's how we could structure society, roughly speaking. And then people put that into practice. A leader can also be somebody who represents you in a democratic council.
So to you, sometimes a leader would be like a chosen representative or something.
Correct. So if there's something that, like, say I can't vote on, I don't know, let's say I can't vote on an economic policy, then I go to, I don't know, my friend who's an ANCAP and say, hey, can you vote for me on this thing?
Yeah. That makes sense. So like,
Actually,
are
you're
did
not
we
going to like
lose?
it, but the LP
Uh-oh.
structure, not how the LP works, not what they do, but the LP structure isn't bad. Delegates from different states voting on policy, voting on planks, and voting on a chair isn't a bad idea. It just some of the policies they do, but the structure itself isn't bad.
I do disagree with that because I think the structure kind of like creates false heroes that aren't worthy of the space that they're given, and it also forces people onto platforms they didn't necessarily ask for. Um, but that's just my personal opinion on that. I don't really like the concept of democracy. I prefer consensus and stuff like that too. So of course I'm not gonna like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you think about that, Rose? Do you agree with him? Do you disagree? You got anything to add on to that? What comes to mind when someone says that person is a leader to
Right.
you?
So no person can be an expert in absolutely everything. So I'm a believer in the idea that there are always going to be natural hierarchies. For example, like when my car needs to be fixed and I bring it to a mechanic, I'm just going to assume that, okay, this person is an expert, and I don't know anything about how to fix cars, so I'm just going to willingly trust their expertise. Like, I think
Mm-hmm.
that, however, I think that this is something that is earned. Like that person, they have a reason to have my trust.
Or like shown an aptitude or something.
Yeah, exactly. I think that a true leader is someone who people want to voluntarily follow. It's if a person is, or if people are willing to follow you, it's because they trust and respect you. It shouldn't be because they fear you. Like under statism, what happens is people only follow you because it's under threat of extreme force.
Right.
Like in a stateless society, it would be because people respect you and they trust you and they trust your expertise and they want to follow you.
Right.
Like a lot of us just have, a lot of people, I think most people honestly just have no interest in being leaders and are willing to voluntarily follow someone who has earned their respect. Some people are just natural leaders. Like, I can't describe it, but like you kind of know them when you see them.
Makes sense to me. Yeah, and I can definitely walk into a space and pick out not like who's in charge, but who the leaders of their community are sometimes, because like it just exudes, and it's not just that, it's like the way people treat them and the way they act around them and stuff.
It's that alpha energy.
Yeah. What do you think?
It's a real thing, but not the way
it is. I think it is. I mean, it's kind of a vibe thing, but it's still a real thing in my opinion. What do you think, Jeremiah, about all this stuff? About the leadership?
I will go last because I have a feeling my answer is going to cunt some stuff up for people.
Okay. How about you, Terrari, what you think about it when somebody tells you that person is a leader? What comes to
Uh,
mind?
yeah, I think it can be quite dangerous to think of people as leaders, especially in communities like ours. Um, like if you I can't put it into words at the moment. Yeah.
Oh no.
Say you have a guy who, um, on the surface seems like a really good person,
Right.
has a lot of similar principles to you, does stuff that you would do, and you think of them as a leader, and then they start to do smaller things that you disagree with, but you're thinking of them as a leader, so you might go along with it until they start doing worse and worse things,
Mm-hmm.
and you just sort of get dragged along with it. So I think it
Yeah.
can be quite dangerous, but it's also when people are coming to this, it's sort of useful to have people to look up to.
Yeah.
That's
I
my
think
take on it.
it's great to have people who are like trustworthy teachers, but you know, I keep telling people like, even me, you don't necessarily know I'm imperfect. But like, like cuz like I organize a lot of stuff here around our community and I'm like constantly trying to remind people, "Hey, double check me. Uh, Tell me when you're critical cuz I may be wrong." And stuff like that cuz like we need that from each other. All right,
Yeah, you don't
Jeremiah,
want
you
to
are
be viewed as
last. Oh,
infallible.
wait. What, Rose?
Oh, I said, yeah, you don't want to be viewed as infallible. Like that's the mark of a
Right?
true leader. They understand they're not infallible and they want people to challenge them when they're wrong. That's how you distinguish
Yeah,
between a true leader and someone who's just an insecure beta.
exactly. So what are your thoughts, Jeremiah, since you're the last one up? You look very happy.
A leader is somebody with followers. That's the boiled down like thing. The reason people choose to follow somebody or the reason people are forced to follow somebody changes. And
Right.
the statist in the state brained mentality views everything through that lens and wants people to think that the state and its controlling paradigms are the ones that like determine reality or some shit like that. They want it to be to where like um you know if you don't have something that fits within the framework of like the state as it were then fucking you're not going to succeed. So for
Yeah.
them, a leader is somebody that is put into a position of leadership. That's what a leader is to them. Um, but to every like to one of us, a leader is somebody who is chosen for a position of leadership by those followers. So like
Mm-hmm.
it's a separate thing. It's not to say that people who are in a position of leadership, I don't know what that clicking noise is. I really
I
don't.
do not either. It came back.
Yeah,
So sorry, y'all, about the clicking noises.
real quick, try muting on your end and seeing if that has anything to do with it.
It doesn't seem to make a difference.
It's not clicking anymore.
Uh-oh. So it may be Rose.
It may be Rose. Might not have been
I
Cordy.
hope not.
It is. I can tell. Because as soon as you undid it, it clicked again.
It was still doing it when I was muted.
Well, we'll troubleshoot, I guess. I don't like
We'll
this app,
troubleshoot.
but the general thing that I'll say is leaders can either be forced onto people by forcing them to follow somebody, or leaders can be like chosen by their followers. So, like for instance, I can lead a group of people on social media if they choose to hit the follow button. Technically, I'm leading them to my ideas. Um, I can lead some people through the city, which I have done on a variety of occasions. When they've visited me here, I have led them through the city. showed them
Mhm.
the ropes, showed them around. Blah, blah, blah. So basically, those are voluntary forms of leadership. Join the Freedom Fighters. If you're a Sonic fan, you'll get that reference. That's a voluntary leadership. It's not like they force people to fight for them. That's more Eggman's
Mhm.
gig. But Eggman is still a leader. He's just an involuntary one. So I
Right.
understand the desire to say that a true leader needs to have noble traits. I don't think that's true, but I can say that a leader that I wouldn't want to depose certainly does. A leader that I wouldn't
Right.
want to show the true side of a redacted does,
Hmm.
like get voluntary consent from the people. So that's my take. My take is it's a neutral word that could have imparted upon it a variety of fucking shit that could make it either a beneficial thing or a non-beneficial thing, and we've got to tirelessly and without fail at least try to be the right kind of leader if we're going to be in that position at all.
Yeah.
Eh,
It's true. I think that it's really like we need to be extremely critical of literally anyone who is in any form of leadership, even if it's just temporarily, but like obviously if you know somebody well enough to be following them in like a really tense situation, like, maybe get the job done and then ask questions. Sit, I'm not saying like be critical 24/7 or anything, but keep them on their toes and double check back. We become very vulnerable to the boiling frog syndrome when we keep our eyes on a hero instead of on the road, you know. Uh, but like on the other hand, like I said earlier, they can be like huge rallying points, especially martyrs. Like I believe that free folk have kind of a deep attachment to their martyrs. And like, that shows not only in like full on free folk, but like activists who are freedom fighters, maybe not anarchists or whatever. Like even they, say their names and stuff like that,
his name was Robert
uh,
Paulson.
yeah, my name is Duncan Limp. My name is Garrett Foster. My name is Michael Newman. My name is Breonna Taylor. My name is, like, we can keep going. My name is George Floyd. Like, the names that we carry, they are torches to light the way, to show us where we have come from and why we are here and where we are trying to go. And I think that maybe it's easier to hold martyrs than it is to have living heroes, personally. Um, because, like, if a hero is in the past, we can look at their past, and know whether or not they had, like, enough bad stuff in their history to say maybe they're not a hero. Um, but we have a big problem, especially,
Mm.
like, leftist side, where we will throw the whole baby out with the bathwater in those situations too. Like with philosophers, they're like, "I can't believe you read that." They were anti-Semitic once, and that means everything they said, including all of the cool anarchy that they wrote about or whatever, is invalid. And I don't think that's necessarily true.
There's a term
Um,
for that. I wanna deliver this to people who don't know about it. It's called
oh,
milkshake ducking. Um,
milkshake ducking. I've never heard that before. Please explain it.
About milkshake duck is an internet slang term referring to a representation of a viral internet star who was briefly adored by the public prior to the discovery of their distasteful or offensive past.
Mm.
Origin. On 12th June 2016, Twitter user at @pixelatedboat posted a tweet about the internet's love for milkshake duck. And so it says, the whole internet loves milkshake duck, a lovely duck that drinks milkshakes. 5 seconds later, we regret to inform you that the duck is racist.
Oh no.
So now it's called milkshake
Oh,
ducking. It's great.
that makes so much sense. Like, yeah, I want that sort of thing. Kind of makes me paranoid of picking at heroes, and like, I don't like holding people on the platforms personally. Like, um, making living heroes kind of scares me in a lot of ways. Both for me and for them. Um, like I don't know. Do you guys have any experience with that kind of thing? Like I know that Jeremiah, you have a following. I bet you've been platformed before. Um, and it's kind of weird. I've had that happen to me before, and I'm just like, hey, stop it. You're freaking me out. Um, and like sometimes the living heroes and the living martyrs, well, the living heroes and the living leaders, not the martyrs, they're dead. But the living heroes and the living leaders will, they're not always consenting. Like
Yeah, what if
sometimes
they like
it's
take
thrust
a turn to
upon
the
them.
dark side? You never know where they're going to go if they're still living.
Oh, the amount of times that I have seen people like platform living activists and then like act like they are property of the movement instead of allowing them to be an individual, um, is ridiculous. And I think that that's something that we all need to be very freaking careful about
Huh?
because it's real easy to love somebody who's alive and charismatic and out there in the streets with us. But, you know, um, if you present them as a leader, even though they like necessarily aren't necessarily wanting to be that thing and hold them to that, then you can be robbing their individuality from them. And like that stuff burns people out. Like that's the quickest way to lose someone who, in my opinion, might actually be a genuine leader, which in my opinion is like somebody that you can look up to, people who behave like leaders, and that people will follow and stuff like that. Um, I think that there's a lot of examples of that. I don't want to call anybody out or any movements out specifically because I've seen it in multiple spaces. I've even experienced it sometimes myself because it horrifies me. When somebody acts like I'm attached to their brain and they just like search up my answers for stuff. I've had people literally repeat me in front of me and I'm just like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know if you guys have any feelings on like the platforming of living anarchists or living free folk, but like we have seen people in the LP be platformed that definitely did not freaking deserve it either, and they really want it because it's a great place to get, it's a great place to be if you're a grifter.
Yeah, I've
And I
had
know we
similar
have a lot of that.
experiences, like people who just helping to run a Facebook group. I've had people who like take everything I say as if it's like the infallible word of God. I'm like, no, you should not ever just blindly trust anything I say. I could be completely wrong on this. Like, don't just mindlessly repeat my words back to me. But yeah, about the LP, yeah, I mean, there are a ton of people who, yeah, there are some very great people. There are also some people who are just saying the right thing because they're trying to build up their podcast ecosystem or subscribe, like courses, subscribe to the ecosystem, or who turn to the dark side later on. I've seen this happen with certain individuals.
Yeah. I mean, and like there are some even outside of the LP, we have people like Vermin Supreme. Like I'm afraid to love him too hard because like what if something happens? What if he suddenly I don't even, God's forbid, Vermin come out to be like some sort of secret super villain. He is the dictator everyone loves. But it's scary to attach yourself to somebody. I've seen so many people be worthy of like being like respected and followed suddenly just start leading everybody straight into, well, I mean, even at times fascism. Like I was talking about that earlier, and like there are people right now who I made, like I felt were like comrades to me, and that we were running side by side, and like people really freaking looked up to that person. And I was like, wow, they're leading so many people towards liberty. And then the next thing you know, they're just running off towards a red or a blue hat for extra money. And like, it's not just them, everybody with them gets at least tugged in that direction. Not everybody follows, but like they start tugging at people, and the people who are literally like obsessed with them or just like willing to let them think for them, like the people that like talk to you like that or talk to me like that or whatever, they just zoom off. They don't even think. They're just like, oh well, they would never lead me the wrong way. That's always like worrisome for me because I've watched so many people just like do that. Do you have thoughts, Jeremiah? You're bouncing. Uh-oh. We lost a green.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I sort of. I'm also trying to like keep my blood pressure going. So
Oh, okay.
I guess the general thing I would say is it's one of those instances where nobody should be worshipped, but so many people still want to because they're attached to that same mentality that the state has. And so ultimately speaking, like first off, there's a barrier here. And one of the
A
reasons
barrier?
that like yeah, and one of the reasons that like so many people like have heroes to begin with is because they think that there's a reason to elevate somebody above themselves because they believe that their stature is limited. They believe that they are lower than they actually are. The state has made a lot of us feel like we're weak. The media, the whatever, the church, our family, our blah 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 blah. Somebody,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere has made us feel like we are lower than we are in a variety of cases here. And so a lot of people just don't feel like, well, I'm just a guy. I can't do X, Y, and Z. They probably can on some level. Um,
Yeah.
I'm just, and so like they'll get this mentality and they'll start to think, well, these people are like above me. They're doing the stuff that I can't, the stuff that I won't.
Right.
Maybe, but what's holding you back? And so a lot of these people that have heroes to begin with are doing so that they can live vicariously or not live at all in the line there and just
Mm.
sort of like that guy's got it handled. And that's why we need so many of these people to begin with, because so little is being handled on a normal basis that when somebody does, it's fucking wow, that's extraordinary. Um,
Right. The bar's getting lower and lower. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. So, like, for me, for my money, I think that this is proof that we need to be more, like, personally heroic. And it's also one of the things that we need to do while we do that is be humble enough to admit, I'm a dude, just like all y'all dudes. We're all just dudes. Dudes being a gender neutral term, of course. We're all just
Yeah.
dudes floating through the dudiverse, and we're like trying to actually like we're trying to find our place, but we should never be in the place where like that is, my station is lower, especially as free folk, especially as
Mm-hmm.
anarcho people, especially and so like it's what I'm trying to say is when it comes down to it, the mentality here that I think creates a lot of these problems with lionization and it's the same mentality that keeps people low to begin with. So, if you've got a hero, try to be like that hero. And if that alleged hero tries to say that you're out of your lane at that point, if somebody tries to act like, no, you're nobody, you can't, that's my job. How many followers do you have? What are your ratios on?
Uh,
It's that once they try to do that, ditch them, and
yeah, because
also
that's a
punch them
red
in the teeth.
flag. And what?
And also punch them in the teeth.
Oh, yeah, like, seriously, like, people like that, that's a huge red flag. Question me not kind of behavior, or like, you're too little for this kind of
Especially if
behavior.
they're a furry.
Oh, yeah.
Question
Well,
me
I mean,
not.
like, I think that potentially as free folk, we should all be leaders. We should be our own leaders. We should be an army of leaders, metaphorically and or physically, depending on how you do. No, not encouraging an army, of course. Obviously, I love nationalism or something.
Yeah, it's one of those things
Um,
where I've had so many instances of like finding people that are cool and then finding out that they're one of those people. It's like, you know, my time is precious. It's so limited. I cannot waste my energy on the trolls like you. and they don't want to involve you in their shit, and they want to act like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, they're fucking above you, or like their circles are somehow elite, and they've got all this fucking. So those sorts of people who try to create those insular cults of personality, those are the people who should not be somebody's
That you should
hero.
be concerned about.
Yeah, and the people who are in those people's like ranks, those people are generally the kind of obsequious person who supports the state to begin with. So it's like if we want as people advocating freedom to get freedom, then we need to guard against those mechanisms, and instead of
Right.
being like that, be, you know, radically open to talking with anybody, and
Mm-hmm.
try not to cunt it up with lack of humility, and remember, we are mortal, we are all mortal, and we all have the same fucking shit that could be wrong with us. Because like so
Yep.
many of these people, but like that's the thing. Like there's that humility, and that's to me what creates the best circumstances for what I would consider a hero. Like, and in the moment, you know exactly what you have to do because you're trying to understand your station and your actual capabilities, and because
Yeah.
of actually knowing where you are. For instance, Johnny Hurley. I don't know
Oh
if
yeah.
y'all remember that guy, but
I definitely
but
do.
he
R.I.P.
literally like defended a cop, and then another cop came up and, but like he
Yeah.
wasn't wrong. The cop was wrong. The murderer cop. And like the guy stopped a mass shooting, but
Yeah.
he got the same treatment that a shooter would have, because these cops are too used to being the right ones in the situation. They don't have that
Mm-hmm.
humility. Um, and it's the same shit with like Acorn Cop. You know, oh, I'm hit. No, you're not. You're a bitch.
Yeah.
So
Oh
many of
We're
these
afraid of
God.
acorns and what, pans of water now, I guess.
Yeah, and so that's my shit. I think recognizing what like goes into heroes, and also the relationship like with like the cultural paradigm that even creates the desire for heroes, is necessary in order to understand the humility necessary to be a hero and a leader and not be a cunt.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
in
I
that,
know. I totally agree.
if we ever develop a following, don't let it go to our heads and become assholes about it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like,
I won't start
honestly,
acting like I'm better than you guys if I ever gain a following.
I like the idea of being able to get spread, but I am personally terrified of getting too popular. I don't really want to be. Um, and to be fair, our niche is not probably gonna get that popular. Not on like YouTube or anything as far. Like, we're not gonna be Mr. Beast. I mean, like, probably. You never know. Something viral might happen. But like, barring some sort of, amazing, strange, and wondrous, unexpected thing, I just don't foresee that being a huge problem. I get niche community. I get that from the niche community enough, and it just scares the shit out of me, 24/7, and like, I just cannot stress enough that like, we need to be very careful with our living heroes, because like, not only are they not perfect, but like I said, we'll burn them out and run them away. Like, I get panicky. I'm like, no, no, no. In fact, now that you behaved that way, I gotta put you over there. Like, you have to stay further away, because like, I don't want you to attach to my butt like that. um you need to be doing it yourself. And a lot of the people who get that way, like, or start that way, and I'm like, hey, back up. They just kind of catch themselves and go, oh shit. But like, I don't know, about a third of them get really angry and just like throw tantrums like they're entitled to your space. And it's the whole parasocial thing, really. Like, we create these unrealistic parasocial relationships with our heroes, with our leaders, with our examples, you know what I mean? And we just need to be very careful about that. What do you think, Troy? You haven't said anything in a little while. Have you got anything to add? What do you
Oh
think about this
yes, I
shit?
zoned out. Sorry.
Well, what do you
Um,
think about all this, like, making heroes and being heroes and the ups and downs and stuff?
um, I don't know if it's been said because I just zoned out, but I do think that we should like especially look out for people who are trying to get to be known as a hero. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, like people who are
Um,
trying to like pull ahead and do things and push and
yeah,
organize and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah. I couldn't agree more because we have a shortage of starters. We have plenty of doers who are just kind of like waiting for someone to start something, but so few starters. And if you see one trying, like they need all the help they can get. Personally, I'm glad you brought that up because like we hadn't mentioned that part yet. Like, not only that, but if you get in a position where people see you as someone with a voice or some weight or something, turn around and look at who else is trying to do that and start pulling their asses up with you. Because the more of
yeah,
y'all, the more leaders there are pushing and being like an actual leader, the less we have to worry about the weight. Also, like, there is a sec issue involved here. There are many states in the United States where they will go after organizers and the leaders of groups and stuff like that. They've long since been trying to saddle Antifa and other groups with leaders so that they can claim that they are centralized. And these groups are not centralized and they don't function that way. But if somebody seems like more active or more visible or louder, they will like zero in on those people and try to make them the leader or the organizer of the
Uh-huh.
situation. And like, honestly, avoiding having that like little, oh, let me just punch my microphone, to avoid having that little like floating crown over somebody's head and stuff like that, making them a target for fascists, a target for cops, a target for feds, or anything like that. Spreading it out and making it to where we have no leaders, where we work together on all of this stuff, protects everybody. We protect us does include like hiding people who are more active and stuff like that. You want smoke and mirrors and stuff like that too, if you can. Protect them. If they're starters, protect them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, just screaming out, like, I love this person, they're the best, blah, 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 all the time. It's not necessarily the best way to protect your starters, I guess. I prefer to call leaders starters or, like, example people or, like, field leaders, like, as in, like, leaders of their field, apt people in their field and stuff. Uh, it feels better for me to just say starters.
yeah.
But I
Right.
mean, like, what do you guys think about that personally? Anything to add on to that or anything? I just
Yeah.
kind
So
of rambled into it.
the system we have has done a very good job at ensuring that most people have just enough to lose that they're not willing to take like the first step.
Hmm.
So I think so many people like they want to do something, and they're aware that like the current system is unsustainable. They don't want to continue to be subservient to it, but they're waiting for someone else to make the first move.
Hmm.
Like you said, yeah. I mean, not many people want to be that starter.
It's kind of like, if you build it, they will come. Like, if you
Uh-huh.
start it, they will come.
Hey,
There's
that's
a
Yeah,
lot of
someone
people
does
just waiting for
something,
that.
and a bunch of people will follow them, but everyone's afraid to be that person who, yeah.
Hey, that's like
Well, yeah, and
that's an
oh,
icon
sorry.
for hire song.
It,
Because we
it
don't want to
is
go there.
somebody make a move.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and relating to that song, like, is there a wonder why people don't want to step up front? Like, um, you know, people will try. There have been many people who have stepped up and done some like leadership type things, and they were literally eaten alive not only by outsiders but by their own people. And then there's people who have attempted to, and I am not encouraging this, I'm just using this as an example, of course. There have been people who have tried to kick off the fucking revolution. And
Uh-huh.
when, like, you kill a couple of cops or you shoot a fucking agent, or like a a federal security guard or something, and you turn around expecting a whole fucking pile of people, and there is no one, because that scares, and they will all back off. And I'm not saying, hey, let's raise an army and like back that.
That
I
doesn't
will say,
do it, though.
I will say that Carrillo did nothing wrong, but I'm
I
gonna
don't-
say, huh?
Oh, go ahead.
But like I do say that, like, you know, when it's feasible, we need to make sure that like when somebody who's trying to start shit, and we see them trying to start shit, like when they look back, they need to have people standing there, because like if they don't, they will stop.
And
It's
after a
so
significant enough period
demoralizing.
of that, most people won't even get started because why the fuck if I'm just gonna do that and then fade off into a puff of smoke, which is why most of these people who do anything that's any amount of zany wait till they're at the end of their rope, and they
Yes.
usually use it as a way to go out with a fucking bang.
With a bang.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, if you see someone doing anything violent, you're probably just going to assume they're a Fed, and there's a very high likelihood they are. Like, that's not going to...
Well, you can't tell.
Okay, that's not
Like,
going to...
you can't always tell.
Like, I think non-violent practice, like just building networks and building a counter economy, is a much better way to accomplish what we want. Anyway, but I mean, if I see someone encouraging violence or trying to do something violent, I'm just going to assume they're probably a Fed trying to entrap me.
Well,
That's probably why they
I
don't
mean,
have
like,
people following
that's
them.
such a double-edged sword too, because like, you know, and I think it's intentional that they make us afraid of people who want to do things. Like I've literally had groups of people be so paranoid that just wanting to fucking go put up a banner got you accused of being a Fed.
Okay, that's a little
Because it goes
extreme.
overboard. The fear of that stuff goes overboard. We can't play Fed under the bed with people, but yeah, if you don't know somebody and they're like digitally trying to get you to do stuff, or you know, like you don't, even if they're trying to physically and you don't know them, like, yeah, don't go with that.
And then
And I like, don't go do anything. Honestly, I'm supposed to say that. I'm not allowed to encourage people to do physical revolution. I'm just saying that, like, theoretically, if one were to do that in a movie or something, you would probably want to pay attention to, you know, like how they're coming at it, where they came from, look into how they got into the group, and like start investigating people who start talking like that.
Yeah.
There's an open thing right now, and like, you know, it's not necessarily anarchists all over the place or anything like that over there, but like there's a thing going on in like Virginia and stuff where these people found a Fed inside of their militia, and you know, they started trying to, don't go to the Feds about the Fed. That's weird. That freaked me out. I'm sorry. That's fucking strange. I would never want anything to do with those people just because they did that.
They went to the Fed because they discovered
Oh,
a Fed.
yeah, it's fucking weird. This Fed got, there was like, it's a crazy thing. Maybe we should do an episode where we just talk about how fucking weird that whole situation is.
So,
I don't know if I'm familiar with this. I'm just gonna say the Fed kind of should have just, like, I don't know, gone out hiking and gotten into an unfortunate accident.
So real
Like,
quick,
they tried to fake their death and then got called out on it.
Oh God!
So real
It was
quick,
terrible.
I just want to say that the real threat isn't even any of those people. And
No,
I'll just
not
say
really.
that the real threat is not the Feds, and it is not people going out with a bang. The real threat is a third, and it's bitches. And the reason I'm
Bitches?
saying that is, like, bitches be a threat because what they'll do is they'll, like, they don't actually want to get their hands dirty. They want the, like, aesthetic of being badass. They want the aesthetic of being a radical anarchist or freedom, you know, libertarian, don't tread on me, blah, 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 blah. And so they'll be like, yeah, we should go hang them politicians. And then they'll never do that. They'll just hope that enough of their audience members get angry enough at what they're saying that then they're like, oh, but I am a scion for the perfect messaging of liberty. And then their fucking people will go out and commit acts on their behalf. And they'll be like,
oh, yeah,
I have
that's
nothing
scary.
to do with it. And it's like,
Yeah.
with these people,
We condemn political violence. That
Yeah.
has no place in our society.
Yeah,
I didn't
and
tell them to do that. I just planted
Yeah.
the idea
Hey,
that
like, that
if
reminds me, like,
somebody
Trump did that shit, didn't he? Didn't Trump do that? Like, he was like, oh, yeah, let's
Yeah.
set him up. Let's
Uh-huh.
get them all mad. Let's get them in the fucking Capitol building. And, oh, I didn't say they were supposed to do that. I didn't.
Yeah,
There's
I
a
think
term
I
for
think
that.
Everybody-
on some
It's
level
called
he wanted
demagoguery.
that to happen. He just
Oh, yeah, I know. Like, I'm sorry. There is not a single person who can get into a position with that kind of following that makes that maneuver that doesn't know they're doing that.
Yeah.
That's
Uh-huh.
ridiculous.
And so
Like, they can say anything that they want, but that guy, bad leader, good example of a bad leader.
And that's my point, because with that kind of motherfucker, especially in this day and age where we can see people like gays against groomers, which are not against the vast majority of groomers or libs of TikTok or whatever these people, like they'll be like,
God.
I'm gonna point my audience, which has been known to be violent shitheads, at these people,
At these people.
and then I'll be like, oh, I had no idea that there would be insert act of violence or hate. I don't condone that. Fuck you. Eat shit. And it's
Yeah,
like that,
no,
but
that's
in
bullshit.
any
I didn't
other
tell
way.
my follower to go stalk some random.
It's such a
Malaysian
double-edged
thing
sword there, because, like,
Exactly.
you know, if you were theoretically some sort of revolutionary and trying to theoretically raise an army to theoretically overthrow a theoretical government,
Stand behind
like,
it theoretically.
there's a really strong chance that when you start trying to do that, no one will come and then you will die alone. And, you know, like, there's also the whole fear running against you to keep people away from you. And there's also, like, the fact that, you know, there are lots of chances that you might actually be the bad guy, you know?
Yeah.
And just like you said, every villain is someone's hero, every hero is someone's villain, and day to day, we definitely have that. Like, Trump. Trump is a fucking super villain to me, but there are people out there who think he's literally the savior.
There are people
Like
out there who
Christ.
come from his dripping tip and they have like a faucet.
Jeez.
It's just so funny because Trump is one of the most transparent people in existence. Okay, the Democrats act like, okay, well, I see this on both sides actually, both the Democrats and the Republicans. Republicans acting like he's playing 5D chess and he's gonna like into the corruption of the system. Democrats also act like he's some sort of like he's got some top secret evil plot for taking control of the country and implementing his own government. He's a reality TV con man who ran for president as a publicity stunt, then got more support than expected. And his ego made it so that he really wanted to win. Then he couldn't accept losing re-election, so now his ego has made it so that he wants to win re-election. Like,
yeah,
like he's more or less like, okay, he's a reality TV con man, but relatively inept compared to other politicians. But like both sides act like he's some sort of genius who has tons of power that he doesn't actually have.
Right. Yeah, no, like, honestly, I don't want to sound like I am giving him sympathy, so I'm gonna, like, remove him from the fucking equation real quick and think, you know, so, like, even the people who want this, like, it's still not healthy for them. Have you seen, like, how people who go in as, like, dictators or presidents or anything like that, they're like, young and charismatic when they start, but, like, when they come out, they look like they're about to fucking fall into a grave if they make it out alive in the first place. Like, some of those forms of leadership, there's only one way out, and that's the grave. And some of those, like, by the time they do get out of their terms and stuff like that, dude, they look like they're about to just fall in the grave anyways. That shit, in a status sense, a leader is so unhealthy. Not just for the people, like, it takes so much out of people.
Yeah.
I can't imagine somebody wanting to be a dictator. Like, you constantly have to look over your shoulder, you can't trust anybody, you know. I already get enough of that as an anarchist. Like, I don't want to add on to it, jeez. Imagine if,
it takes the
like,
specific type of person.
yeah, it's high stress, like, even being like into organizing and teaching, which is kind of low key. I don't really consider it like a full like a leadership type position personally, but like other people sometimes act like it is, so I'll use it. Like I fucking forgot what I was gonna say.
Words.
God's damn it. Words, 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 words.
But that's
It's really hard.
my thing, like, I consider people like that. People who will speak down from their podium and never actually get their hands dirty. I consider them to be the most dangerous type of hero.
I have a tendency to look at them as they degrade and go, "Well, you're getting what you deserve." Heavy is the burden of the man upon the throne, and like that shit. It's built to kill people. I don't even understand how anybody would ever really want the statist version of leadership. Like, that's terrifying to me. Like, way worse than just being respected. Well, I don't know. Being respected is scary. In another way, because, like, I used to have people, I don't know if people listen to me anymore, but I used to have people who, like, listened to the shit I said. And, like, there were times when I was very wrong. And I said things that I know hurt people. And that shit will stay with you. Like, I have said things years ago that I know hurt people. And I cry about it now. Because I don't know how badly I've hurt people. I don't know how many people I hurt. I don't know anything about that. And that will stay with you if you actually care about people. Like, if you're not trying to be some sort of dictator leader or some cult of personality leader or something like that, like, whew. I sometimes hesitate to speak when I need to speak because of that. I don't know if any of you guys ever have that feeling, but sometimes I get scared to speak because I'm afraid of, like, what it might teach people. Like, what if I'm just wrong? I still speak anyways. I'm good at coming back and saying, hey, by the way, I was wrong. But, like, does that bother anyone else who tries to speak to people and teach people stuff? Because it scares the crap out of me.
Well, Terraria has not spoken in a wheel.
Yeah,
You got anything to add down there, bro?
Yeah. Hang on. So I think the worst part about it is, if you do teach someone something, it does turn out to be wrong. You might never get that chance to be able to correct yourself on it.
Oh, yeah.
Which can be really scary to think about, especially, like, leading up to it.
Well, yeah, and even if you do correct yourself, like, everybody knows that the first thing you said is going to be seen by way more people than the second thing you came back to redact on. Like, I think that some people rely on that, honestly.
Yep. Literally so many people, especially people in the online space. God damn if there aren't like 800,000 accounts that just lie constantly.
Yeah, like, literally fabricating fake evidence and all sorts of crazy shit. Like, it's
Have you
there's some
seen
really
Matt
bad ones.
Wallace?
Well, then there's the ones that just mindlessly repost what they've posted, or they just mindlessly share it.
Mhm.
Fact-checking.
Rothmus.
Yeah,
And Declaration
Rothmus.
of Memes.
Does that guy
Declaration
ever,
of
like, post
Memes.
anything original?
No.
Yeah.
It seems like an account that shit. Like, I don't know why everyone
Well-
is so obsessed with Rothmus and telling you to follow Rothmus. Like, all I see is a bunch of stale recycled memes that other people.
I have literally seen them repost stuff from full-on Totenkopf, Swazi, flashing fucking Nazis. Like,
Yeah. And the
full
name,
on.
okay, and also the name is stupid. So there.
It
And
is stupid.
And then there's like Matt Wallace, who literally makes shit up. Like
Mhm.
Matt
Or like
Wallace.
TikTok, libs of TikTok. TikToks do that. Libs of TikTok.
Well, Libs of TikTok doesn't make things up; they just lie about what's there.
I
Like
guess that's
TikTok
true.
is a piece of shit who tries to get random people fired while pretending to be against cancel culture.
yeah. Well, the thing that
Well, they get.
the reason I bring up Matt Wallace as such a standout example is because Matt Wallace, like, I could scroll his page right now and find something new that is completely untrue, but that so many people support it. So, like, let me just go to his page real quick. If I scroll for any length of time on this page, I'm going to find some bullshit. So here's one of the things. Fucking
Oh no.
people are questioning if 9/11 was an inside job after footage showing a new angle of the towers falling, hidden from the public for 23 years, was released yesterday. And okay, maybe, but like disturbing footage moments before he killed himself after witnessing red symbol ceremony. This video is extremely upsetting to watch, and it has like a picture of Lady Gaga on the front of it.
Wait. Who killed themselves and why?
Nobody actually.
Lady
Nobody.
Gaga
It's
did
just
it, though? Lady
clickbait.
Gaga
It's
killed
just
herself?
clickbait trying to get people to move through and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you go to his channel. It's on Rumble, and he's talking about red symbol ceremony, and it's Lady Gaga in her fucking dress and talking a
Oh,
bunch of shit
jeez.
about it, and then fucking Ellen DeGeneres for some reason in the middle of it, and he just makes up all this shit about this shit that like, and people like believe him because they don't need proof, they don't need facts, they don't need
No,
evidence.
they don't want it.
Yeah, and so this motherfucker just keeps on, and like you go to the Rumble thing, and the first comment here is so fucking good. It's from some dude named Arcane Workshop, and it's like, this told me absolutely nothing. Thanks, Matt.
I still have no idea who this is, so.
Like, what the fuck was
Well,
that,
expl-
Matt?
would
Yeah,
you-
I'm confused. Let's see another. It's so
I
fucking-
mean, this person is a dime a dozen. There's so many people just like them doing the same freaking thing. You could put any one of them in that place. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be Matt.
And they have like blue checks, and this guy has 1.9 million followers, so he gets money for this every month.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
annoying.
like, I'm not gonna lie. I accuse people who make posts like that of being bots. I'm like, what are you, a bot? What is
It's
this?
very
Are you a
bot-like.
bot? It's what it
It's-
feels like.
And like so many people will immediately, like so many people that are actually
We'll
obviously
just immediately
bots.
jump on it and share it and
Yeah,
push
or
it.
just like repost it to their own accounts without any context. Like that
Mhm.
fucking, like when the shooting happened, when Trump got his little ear nick, like a bunch of people started to tweet that Marco Violets, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Um,
In
and-
all fairness,
and he
I
was a football
I shared that
commentator.
without realizing. Or no, I didn't share it.
Oh no, did you do it?
I
Oh.
believed it for a split second. I believed it. In my defense, I was at this boring ass work get together and didn't have time to do any back to him. Like, oh, I'm being told this is the guy.
Yeah, well,
Uh-oh. Gotta be careful with that.
Well, when I debunked that, I kind of, here's the thing, because of that, I already know about, like, Wall Street Silver is one of these liars.
Yeah,
So I already don't like
first
that
thing I
account.
saw, and I'm like, oh, this is a picture of the guy. Apparently, look, everyone.
Yeah, but like, here's the other half of that. I couldn't even find Wall Street Silver saying that. Like, so it's like,
you must have deleted it pretty fast then.
or somebody made a tweet screenshot of Wall Street Silver saying something that Wall Street Silver never even said, because Wall Street Silver has some fucking cred in certain circles, and they thought, if I just share this, it'll seem like this person said this, I'll get my fucking retweets. And they didn't care about facts. None of them did.
So, is there a person out there named Mike Violets?
No,
Who knows?
it was like Marco Violets, but it was actually Marco, like
Right.
Mark Violet or something like that. And he's like a Italian football commentator.
Right. That's pretty funny. Someone just
It's like
completely
Sam
made that
Hyde.
up. Yeah.
Oh, Sam Hyde.
Wait, what?
You can't keep getting away with this.
Sam Hyde is always blamed for every mass shooting that happens.
Like it was only moments before people had already blamed the attempted assassination of Trump on Hyde. I was sharing it myself. I was like, damn it, he can't keep getting away with this.
Mm-hmm.
Is Sam Hyde still alive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Poor guy.
I
I don't
couldn't
know if
tell.
that's good or bad. Um, yes, the ups and downs, the ups and downs. Like, honestly, I don't know. There's so many, like, downsides to it all. Um, like, I don't know what else to really add because we've kind of hashed this stuff out aside from like maybe doing some like closing words unless anybody else has something else that they want to bring up that we haven't thought about yet. We've kind of like pushed the pencil across the table um
Live
on
chat. Are
that.
we being first this time?
Do what?
Like, do we have any weirdos in the live chat this time?
I have
No.
no idea who that
Okay,
other
good.
person is. Yeah, I don't think we do. We actually had a calm live chat. It was pretty chill. Just people saying hi and stuff. Nothing too crazy. Nobody asked any questions. That was sad, but um,
Well,
I guess like it might. Oh, what?
I don't know who Kevin Carifio is, but
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
Hmm.
I mean,
guess who? I don't know.
They're saying, "Hey guys, hey guys, guess who?" But we already know it's Kevin Carifio.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what it says. It's Kevin Carifio. We win. What do we get? Give me
Apparently,
my
Kevin
prize.
Carifio is trying to give people Asian girls on Twitter.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
But if this is
Like,
not
just
Carifio,
people-
Wait, is this some red market
Like,
shit?
just-
I'm just kidding.
the free-
Yeah. But I mean, like, I guess in the takeaway, in my, like, my, I've got some personal closing statements that I'd like to give, but, like, I don't want to, like, I'll wait till you guys do, like, what do you guys have, if you could, like, sum all this up and give a closing statement on all this shit we've discussed tonight, what would it be? You want to go, Rose? You hit it.
Oh, like, what do you want me to talk about?
Oh my god, I'm trying to get, like, the women to lead. I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing.
So
I'm just teasing. No, it's
okay,
like, so, like,
I am a
after this entire discussion and stuff like that,
woman.
you're strong, independent woman. You don't need no man or MD explaining shit to you.
I don't need no heroes.
No,
No, I mean, to go back to what I was saying, I think that there's nothing wrong with being inspired by certain people who have accomplished something or who have said or written things that have influenced your personal philosophy. But it's important to remember that these people are human. They are not infallible, and that we should treat them as such.
Yeah,
I
think
don't
that's
have
pretty
anything
fair.
to plug at the moment. I will unapologetically advertise and encourage people to join the Facebook group Libertarians and Communists, a people-friendly
You
corporation.
should
I help
send
run
me
it.
an invite to
It's
that.
to engage with people who may or may not agree with your personal political philosophy. It's how I know
I'd
some of
remind you to send me a link to that.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
in there.
I'll just post it in Pan Anarchy chat.
Oh, okay. Oh my god, the chat's been leaked. We spoke of it. Uh-oh, I'm gonna make people mad. I didn't mean to make a fucking joke that was targeted. What about you, Terrariata, after this whole conversation and the ins and outs? You got any closing thoughts you might want to throw out there after this whole thing? Or anything that you want to plug at all? Something that's going on out there? Something you want to make people aware of? Something you like?
Nothing that pops into my head really, no.
Okay, well, what do you got for us, Jeremiah? What's your closing thoughts on all this?
My closing thoughts are: don't wait for somebody else to be one. Try to be one for somebody else. And then
Mm-hmm.
when that happens, bring them up to your level instead of saying, I'm at this level now, I'm going to use that. Pretending in any sort of capacity that one is better than everyone else, or that one has earned a place above them, is a good way to lose the base that gives us freedom to begin with. So,
Yeah.
just if you have a hero out there, try to emulate them. in some way that makes you more like them instead of just like using them to live vicariously. And if they don't want you to do that, maybe they're not such a great hero after all. There's things like that. I Ultimately, heroism should be a philosophical concept that you try to achieve.
Yes.
It should not be a label that you give to somebody else so that they can act at your behest, or so that they can uh, or so that they can form their personality cult and act like they're above you. If any other paradigm is that paradigm, then it shouldn't be tolerated, especially by anybody trying to achieve freedom.
Yeah. Well, uh, we are just way too similar sometimes because you said like half of what I was gonna say. So I'll change it up and be like, if you're trying to be a hero to people out there, watch your fucking ass. Everybody is gonna be out to get you. Everybody is gonna be out there to try and create something of you that you are not. And people are gonna try and get you to do what they want you to do. Don't fuck with that shit. Take advice, consider your community and stuff like that, but don't let people drive you. Um, and I guess one of the things that didn't get mentioned in the closing things are, like if you are out there looking for a hero, just like he said, start with yourself and be one for somebody else, but also like, if you gotta have somebody, pick someone who's dead. They're not gonna do anything new. You can already know where the end of their story was and what they're gonna do. Like, I think one of the safest ones, Nestor. He didn't really fuck anything up. He didn't really do anything bad, and he's not gonna do anything bad now. So I mean, like, it's safe. Pick a safe hero if you gotta freaking have somebody, and like to start. But always, or fake ones. Yes, fiction is great. It can really, really inspire people. We don't have to. They don't have to be real. Your heroes don't have to be real. Um, and don't stick with heroes. Don't stop there. If you see somebody that you like he said, like Jeremiah said, emulate them, but like not necessarily entirely. Don't lose yourself. Build yourself with it. Take the good and throw away the bad, and everybody's got something to share. So yeah, like I guess that's my idea is like, build yourself, watch yourself, and play it safe with if you want to play it safe, pick a dead guy or gal or non-binary pal. And oh wait, Jeremiah, did you plug? You didn't plug.
I fuck politicians professionally. No, you can find me on
I'm
And
plugging.
where can we see evidence of this?
yeah, right.
The OnlyFans.
I do fucking bullshit on my channel, Jeremiah Talks. Insanity is free on social media. I have a cult. There's various places that you can find me. And there's various ways that words can be said. And somebody who's not here, but who is in Mad LiberTEA, if y'all want to throw some support, there's a GoFundMe for Bryce Thon to
Yes.
get out of debt. So that is words that I can say about things that I can say words and places about things.
Words and
and
places.
yeah. There's going to be more discussions on my channel. One of them is
Yeah.
probably going to be with Bryce tomorrow, specifically about the
Ooh.
Wisconsin situation, because I have to go find like the corruption in the cheese state. And there's going to be more probably 2025 on Sunday is what I'm guessing.
Oh,
So
good. I want to be there for that too.
yeah, so folks can fuck in the fuck chamber. We will have plenty of bets. Y'all feel free to follow me places, things, words. Read the Sonic comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can be reasonably certain Sonic's not going to fall down the fascist pipeline. Reasonably.
Yeah, but preferably, preferably not.
Well, unless he's Scourge.
Good.
Of course, Scourge was more of a
they're
monarchist
kind
than
of
a.
Yeah. I can't imagine Sonic being a monarchist. That would be so weird.
Well, there's this Archie thing where like in the future he's the king, but like
Mm-hmm.
he tries to rule in a way that like doesn't infringe on anybody's freedom, and he tries to be receptive to shit and understanding and not an elitist. So it's one of those things. I could talk about Sonic specifically for hours. So it's a very short alternate universe thing. And it gets retconned later because basically fucking some time travel happens and a threat is eradicated that sort of re-alters the timeline, proverbially speaking. Silver the Hedgehog is involved. He's very cool.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to catch up with some of that stuff. I'm still behind on Sonic, and I used to really love it. And now you've got me motivated to actually check it out. I guess all there is left to do is to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for coming. I hope you guys liked this.
Yeah.
If you liked it, like it, share it, hit that subscribe, hit that bell. We will be back ourselves on the 30th to do an interview with Hody. And we'll be talking about Christian anarchy and Love First Christians, which is a little group that is just fantastic, and all sorts of stuff involving that sort of thing. It'll be fun. And this weekend I'll be, doing a pre-recorded interview that we'll be putting out, and we may have something on the 1st that is special, but I'm not going to announce it right away because I don't want to disappoint people if it doesn't happen right away. Just keep an eye as the 1st comes near to see what's coming out, because we'll keep people updated as we know for sure.
Well, I hope to keep both eyes.
Do what?
I hope to keep both eyes.
Oh, well, yeah, one, you just put, keep both eyes, and the one in the back of your head, and the third one, and...
you're only sacrificing one by keeping it on the lookout for... I don't even know.
Look, if you're sacrificing an eye, and it's not for some sort of magical powers, it's not worth it.
Because, when I was a little kid, I would, someone would say, keep an eye on this, and I would, just have the image of someone, pulling out their eye and taping it to the thing they were supposed to. I'm weird.
There used to be a freaking character that used to do stuff like that, and I can't remember what it was from. I just know that I've seen cartoon characters do that before. But yeah, we'll see you guys over there on Sunday. We'll see you guys over here on the 30th, and thanks you guys. Try to fucking be safe out there. I know that safety is an illusion, but do the best you can, because shit be fucked up. It's not just, left and right, left is right, upside is downside. Shit be on fire, y'all. So whatever you do, just do whatever you can to stay free, and take care of each other. We'll see you guys soon. And, what was it that you always say? Don't forget to...
Smash the state.
Peace, y'all.
But first, smash that subscribe button.
Heck yeah.
That's subscrussy.
That no Melvins, more Frankie, keep the suckers out. Chris and OG, if you know about, they keep the niggas mother proud. Talking about the trees and the roads that came from the heart.